In today's video, I visit Covehithe Leiston Abbey. There's very steep steps. I go to Thorpeness, visit Martello Tower and Snape Maltings, and finish by crossing on the Reedham Ferry. So here we are, walking along the cliff top pathway, which due to coastal erosion has vanished. I hadn't realised, really, when I was standing right on the edge, that it was probably a bit daft. But never mind, you do these things in the heat of the moment. And then when I came back, or spun back round, I looked down on the beach. And this is what I saw. A very recent cliff collapse. So don't all worry, I am safe. Videos will continue. So originally these trees would have been up on top of the cliff where I'm now sat, away from the edge I might add. And with the erosion, coastal erosion, they've now ended up down on the beach. And you could see that some of them were actually covered with sand, and there's obviously been a rough storm recently and uncovered them again. I'm now facing south. There is Southwold Lighthouse, and beyond Southwold is Leiston. Remember, I went to Minsmere and I was right beside that dome. It's looking quite stormy out to sea. Of course, a ship goes past. Perfect timing. It's a long way out and it is extremely windy up here on the cliff top, I might add. Going back to the car, I visited the church ruin here in Covehithe of St Andrew. But I'll make that another video, totally separate video, and put it on my second channel for you. So now it's back in the car and we're driving to the next place, which is Leiston Abbey. Another ruin looked after by English Heritage. A lot of it is fenced off and they're going to be doing repair work here. But a lot of it you can still get into, still explore and have a good walk around. When you consider it was built in the 14th century, I think it's doing remarkably well, don't you? There are also some newer buildings here which have amazing windows. It doesn't look as though anybody is living in these buildings, but if you look carefully at that black door on the left there, it's actually open. We were far too chicken to even touch the door, let alone look inside or move it or anything. No, we don't do that. But it was open, and I don't think there's anybody in there. Anyway, we can, despite the Harris fencing, I think that's what it's called, the metal fencing everywhere, we can get up these steps and have a look around. They're rather steep steps, I have to say. But it's just starting to rain, which it seemed to do most of today. But that doesn't stop us, we carry on. But just look down there. Look how steep those steps are. I just climbed up those. It's a huge sight. It really is. It's time for us to leave here now and go on to the next place. Perhaps we're going to somewhere that you've never been before or never seen, don't even know about. The House in the Clouds in Thorpeness is a holiday property. Absolutely amazing. You can see it for a few miles away. Across the lane from the House of Clouds is this mill. Quite hard to spot, but in the next tree is a gold crest. It's the UK's tiniest bird, and it flits about and it's very well disguised, but that is a gold crest. And then I discovered this blackbird who's got a poorly deformed leg, and so he's actually sitting on his tummy on the fence. A couple of interesting architectural features to a couple of buildings here in Thorpeness. Now I'm in Aldeburgh, and this is one of the Martello Towers. There are several of these towers dotted along the coastline, and they were built to stop the invasion of the French, led by Napoleon. When they were built, they were actually called heavy gun batteries, but now they're called Martello Towers. They are now looked after by the Landmark Trust, and they are actually holiday accommodation. Well, this one is anyway. They sit on a fabulous location right beside the beach. So one side the tower faces the sea and the beach, and on the other side it faces the salt marshes and the mud flats. When the tide goes out, this attracts all sorts of different birds. I'm not sure what the egret's seeing, but it's obviously something rather good that he's after. And when he fails to get it, he then gets in the water and starts stamping his feet to get whatever is in the mud to come to the surface, and then he will catch it and eat it. No luck as yet, though. I'm still right beside the sea, so it's ever so windy, and I'm really struggling to keep my camera still. It's not really the place to put my camera on a tripod here. Otherwise I might have had a go at doing that today. Can we all be really quiet? Because the little black-headed gull has just settled himself down, and I think he's going to have a little siesta. No siesta for the redshank, though. He's desperately trying to find something to eat. The egret was unsuccessful, so he's gone off elsewhere. And then we have this little bird. He or she is a meadow pipit. I took a photo of it, and you can just see a flash of orange below its eye, sort of on its neck area. I was watching this dog and filming it, and then I realised that it just didn't have its owner with it. And this went on for ages and ages, and then I thought, oh no, whatever am I going to do with the lost dog? Who am I going to report that to out here? But eventually, its owner arrived, and that story resolved itself. This girl is having a right old feast. He keeps getting stuff from in the bank of the salt marshes. I don't know what it is. It just looks like moss. But lunch is definitely served. This went on for quite a while. I do like watching them, see what they get up to. It's time to move on yet again, and we are off to Snape Maltings. Naturally, I find some boats to film. Of course I do. They all laugh at me because I head straight to the boats first off. Before I film anything else, no matter where I am, where we go, there's always boats. And it's just natural now that everybody else goes to the boats first too. The barge that you can see down there is actually a holiday property. So that looked very nice and exciting. I'm on the bridge filming this and I spot what looked like a trail camera. And I thought, what's that? What's it looking for? One of the group said perhaps it's looking for otters. But no, it's a people survey, something to do with the new Sizewell Sea that they want to build. Slowly making our way back to the cars now, and as the tide is out, the mudflats are exposed here. So I think that's a godwit and a redshank, and on the right, hiding in amongst the reeds, was a water rail. After all that digging around in the mud, it's time for a wash in the river. A little preen. Really, we should be making our way back to the cars, but we're all hanging around here by the mud flats, waiting to see if the water rail puts in another appearance. Now it's the turn of the teal to see what they can find. So we've given up waiting and are now walking back across the boardwalk, where we notice that people have obviously paid to have their names engraved on the boardwalk. Next is what I imagine would be called an art installation. Lots of different shaped objects which light up at night. And that sign tells you what each one is. In the queue, waiting patiently to get on Reedham Ferry to take us back across the river and back to Acle to pick up my car. So we are eventually on the ferry going across. No cruisers about today. If you've enjoyed this video, perhaps you'd like to give it a thumbs up for me. You may have noticed this week I've had several new subscribers, and that's simply by people liking the video, and then that helps me reach a greater audience. If you don't already subscribe to my channel, perhaps you'd like to do so. I'd also like to thank you all for all your messages and for all the comments you write on my videos. I read every single one, and I reply to virtually every single one. There may be the odd message I miss, and sometimes I don't see it until about a couple of weeks later, but then I do eventually reply. So if I don't reply instantly, it's just because I've had so many come through and I've just missed the odd one or two. I'm almost at the end of today's photos here at the end of this video for you. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you all for watching. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. Have a lovely week ahead. And I'll be back again soon. Bye for now.